Hello, guys, and welcome back to another episode of the podcast, Control or Be Controlled. Podcast designed to help you start thinking differently and take control of your life. And I remain your host, Darlington. Today's guest is Amanda, a born survivor, HR professional, and vocalist, whose story spans extraordinary resilience, healing, and personal transformation. Born as an infant, over 30% of her body, and raised in a strict religious environment. Amanda has spent her life overcoming both visible and invisible scars. Despite these challenges, she went on to earn a degree in business administration from Temple University, build a career in human resources, and perform nationally on television, including appearances on NBC's Clash of the Choirs and alongside Patti LaBelle. Today, she also supports other boys as a peer mentor, using her story to inspire courage, recovery, and self-expression. Amanda, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so I would like you to also introduce yourself.
I'm sorry, could you say that again?
I said I would like you to also introduce yourself to my listeners.
Oh, sure. I'm Amanda. I um, live in the Philadelphia area, currently work in human resources, and I'm also working on music. I sing in choirs. I've sang background for other artists, and right now I'm currently also working on a solo project.
All right, so Amanda, the story begins with a life-threatening burn injury as an infant. How has growing up with these physical scars shaped your identity and resilience over time?
Yeah, it's interesting because I was so young. I was a baby, so I don't remember anything about what happened, or I don't know. And because I was so young, I don't know life without having the scars. So I grew up. Um, that's all I knew. So it definitely makes you appreciate, just surviving that. Appreciate and being alive, and also just building confidence over time, learning to love like how you look because I can't change it. So that's been the most important part for me.
All right, so you also grew up in a strict religious environment that you have described as restrictive. How did that experience influence your sense of self and independence?
Yeah, so I felt very controlling. There were a lot of rules and restrictions. I feel like I missed out on a lot of opportunities and events because of all the rules, and there was just so much that you couldn't do. I felt like it's very exhausting and demoralizing when you're kind of focused on what you can't do instead of being encouraged to spread your wings and do things and try new things. Um, I felt stifled, as stifled as far as curiosity and asking questions, and just so that was tough for me. But I always knew I had to like trust my intuition, and I knew that it's just not right to be controlled in that way. So I always, from a young age, I had a sense of self and knew that you know individuality and autonomy is important.
All right, so at what point did you realize you wanted to reclaim your voice and define your life on your own terms?
Oh God, I was really young. Actually, maybe around 18, even before that, I kind of knew that there were certain things I wanted to do and accomplish. But I remember the first thing I did, because we weren't allowed to, our church, like denomination discourages wearing jewelry. So I didn't have my ears pierced. Didn't wear any jewelry. So as soon as I turned 18, I remember I went and got my ears pierced. So that was like the first thing. And then around that same time, I also like went on my first audition. singing auditions. So it was around that time when I started to kind of pursue my own path.
All right. So despite everything you went through, you built a career in HR and also pursued music at a high level, including national television appearances. Amanda, what kept you moving forward when things felt difficult?
Just knowing, like, difficult situations in the past, I was able to get through, and knowing that, there's always um, there's always hope, no matter what situation you're going through. Like I've, just being able to accomplish certain things. I grew up singing in the church, and I never imagined that I would be singing, on national television several times, or with certain, artists that I grew up listening to, and even just being able to, record my own music. That's been very rewarding, and I that's what keeps me going. Just knowing that whatever you put your mind to, you can accomplish your goals.
All right. So you were selected by Party Label Flash Choirs, right?
Yep.
So what was that experience like for you? What did it teach you about your own capabilities?
Oh, it was a great experience. So even from like the first audition, just knowing I got through that audition, and then meeting her, and she gave, just great advice. She told me, at that member that when I first met her and sang, and she's like, "Oh, I love your voice," and that was really encouraging. And then just throughout the process, even though our group lost, but still a learning experience, and knowing, um, just pushing ourselves to get better, and the rehearsals, and all of it was a wonderful learning experience.
Okay, so how do you personally define resilience? Not just surviving, but actually thriving after adversity.
Yeah, for me, it's not giving up, um, and still coming out on the other end, stronger, and then learning something. Every situation is an opportunity to learn something, uh, for me, and I really lean on my just inner voice and intuition, that has guided me, and helped me through times, and pushed me to even go further and pursue other goals.
All right, so support other box life as a peer. So, yes.
Yeah,
So, what do you find people most need? What do you find people most need in those early stages of healing?
I think just someone to talk to that understands. Because of course you have like the nurses and doctors that are caring for you, but to actually talk to someone that's been through the same experience and can kind of give that firsthand advice is very helpful, and important for them. And also, just for them to see, at the stage when you're in the hospital or still recovering, I've I found that they like seeing someone that's got through, on the other side, and is living, just a normal life, going about working or going to school, and going about day to day. So I think that's a big part of it too. And another part of it is just listening, being able to, whether the person, v- wants to vent angry or sad, or they have questions about what things will look like in the future or currently, just being a listening ear. I think that's the most important thing.
All right. So, how do you balance not I still not letting it define the future?
Yeah. So it's for me, it's because there are times where I'm, worried about the future, or my mind is ruminating on past events. So just being present in the moment. Because there's nothing I can do about certain things in the past, or things I wish I had done different, or same thing. And, so for me, it's like just staying present and focusing on what's happening now, and um, kind of training my mind to be present in the moment.
All right. So, is there a way society reacts to a boss or that you do not?
No, not really. I mean, there was a time where I mean, I didn't even know that there was a thing like people to refer to themselves as a burn survivor. But then I heard the term, and I was like, oh, it's kind of reclaiming and showing your strength, showing that you did survive, and so I relate to it in that way, and I haven't found anything negative.
What role has music played in your healing and self-expression?
Oh, music! I listen to music pretty much every day. Just helps my mood. It's something takes me back to good times. I love singing, so it's something that I've always just loved singing, even as a little girl in school and at church. Whether it's singing solo or with a group or a choir or anything like that, it's just always been a great joy and a passion of mine.
So looking back now, what would you say to someone who feels defined or limited by what they have been through?
I'd say it's never too late to kind of redefine and change what happened in the past. Change, redirect your life. You're not defined by your past. You can always make changes, and there's always hope. Might not look like what you envision, but there's always things that you can do to make changes in your life and accomplish your goals.
Amanda, here's my final question. What is that one question you wish people would ask you that they do not ask you?
One question that I wish people would ask me. Hmm.
Yes,
I don't know
one
if so
question.
much a question, but just maybe getting to know me as a person. Like, what are so maybe like what are maybe it's a good question. I would say, or I would say if they would ask me like how I feel about certain situations or how I feel currently, just ask me about my feelings or my opinion because there was a time where I feel like I couldn't ask questions or I couldn't have an opinion or so yeah, I think it would be that just asking me what my thoughts are and feelings and opinions are.
So you wish people would ask you your opinions and your feelings about something.
Yeah, anything about life or just different situations. So I think a lot of times people they might make assumptions or think they know, or they when you could just ask the person or ask me directly and find out that way. So I think that's one thing.
You're talking about things about you, not generally.
Yeah, it could be general or think um, how I'm feeling in general.
Because I think you're talking about things about you, not general.
Yeah.
All right, Amanda, thank you for sharing your story. The journey is a powerful reminder that healing isn't about erasing the past. It's about learning how to live fully alongside and still choosing to move forward with courage and purpose. And for all my listeners, according to Amanda, stories like yours remind us that resilience is not the absence of hardship. It is the decision to keep becoming who you were meant to be, even after life has tried to tell you otherwise. So, Amanda, before you go, where can my audience connect with you and learn more about your work?
Yeah, so they can connect with me. I have an Instagram page. It's at manda.jg, manda.jg. And then also on my website, it's amandajgordon.com.
All right. Once again, thank you so much for being my guest and for providing value. So thank you for making this episode very special.
All right. Thank you for having me.
All right. Have a wonderful day.
All right. Thank you too. Bye.